Hi, everybody. Welcome to my weekly podcast, The Weekly Hunt. This is going to be a bit different from the Daily Hunt. It's not going to be a technical analysis. It's not going to be me looking at the charts, giving you ideas. It's going to be purely a discussion between me and Irdi, which is one of the members in my Discord group. Very, very good at fundamental analysis, good options trader as well. I think last year you made 800%, Irdi, right?
Yeah, it was a lucky 800%, but yeah, it was 800% with small sums, of course, because you don't want to risk a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a small portfolio to test the option strategy that I'm trying to develop and perfect. But yeah, it went pretty well. This year I've
Yeah.
stepped away from options because they became very overpriced. Because a lot of people want to trade and make quick money, and the options value skyrocketed. We could see
Mm.
that in every chart. That daily traders are becoming a real problem for the economy.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. I've stepped away and I've focused more on stocks. But most of the time, I traded options last year. This year, it's more on stocks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think what's happened in the last year or so is we've seen a lot of leverage in the market, and I think one of those is zero day expiry options, zero DTEs, and then we've seen huge leverage being used, and this is why a lot of traders are being liquidated with these price manipulations that are happening, and also key events for this week. What do you think we should cover for this week as one of the key points? Should we cover
We
Jerome
should
Powell
always
first?
Yeah, we should always start with Trump. Trump is the main news that the
Okay.
market follows these days. Pretty much the last weekend and the beginning of the week started with Trump and China, America and China to be exact, having
Yeah.
an agreement for their technology, minerals, and everything they had disputes about. The deal looks good on paper. China say they want the deal. America says they want the deal, but pretty much it's a nothing burger. I think when things get really to the details of the deal, I'm pretty sure Trump will block Nvidia chips again, and China will go to the mineral pressure again. But the market expected it pretty good at the beginning of the week. And it had a pretty good reaction to the news. But
Yeah.
yeah, we are seeing the end of the week. We are back to last week's highs, and pretty much it was a nothing week. We had Powell too, which spoke about jobs being in decline. We had news about big companies laying off huge staff members on thousands. Amazon like 40,000, UPS like 50, 60,000. So
Yeah.
uh, AI seems to be crippling in these kind of jobs. Yeah, pretty much the market is very unstable for a moment. Volatility is high, which makes options skyrocket, puts and calls, because the volatility is too high. So we see millionaires become in a day and become poor the other day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty, it's a pretty fun situation if you know what to do, but pretty terrifying if you have no idea how the market works or why these are happening. Is it positive news? Why is Meta stock falling?
Mm.
Is negative news? Why is Tesla, I guess, rising? So it's pretty weird times, I guess.
I agree. Yeah. And like you said, in the beginning of the week, we had I think it was Sunday, we had the market move up higher, especially crypto market was moving up higher on Sunday, and then Monday morning we had that gap in the markets and the indices, and I felt like even though we moved up higher, it was the Magnificent Seven again. So there's no breadth to the market. You're not seeing other stocks doing as well as they should, although we're getting some setups the last few days. But it was mainly Nvidia, Palantir, Amazon, the key players that have moved up higher. And those are the ones that are best performing for me right now in my portfolio. What about you for your portfolio?
Yeah, my portfolio is more defensive. I had until today, I had Moderna, I had CRNT,
Yeah.
I had Oxy, which performed pretty well yesterday, all of them. And I sold them today because the market just sold them again too fast, even though I really trust on Moderna and Cerata that you shared in the Discord group. But the market seems to be focused all on Max 7. Amazon was an idea that I wanted to play, but it flew away, so it is what it is. I don't trust Amazon as a fundamental company because I don't retail sales. I expect to fall down with these layoffs, government shutdowns. The money to be expended by the normal people will probably fall short. And maybe in Q4 or Q1 of next year, we must see some real issues with the economy.
I think so. Yeah.
But pretty much my portfolio was defensive for October and it did pretty good, like 8%. So it was fine in the volatile months, as we said. And we had
Mm.
S&P like 0.6% all month increase. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty nice.
You made
Something
around
I noticed
8%.
is that, yeah,
Okay.
something I noticed it was that the market is focused all in Big Seven. If we remove Big Seven, Mac Seven, I guess, the market is like 0.1% increase in all other assets if we remove the Mac Seven from the equation. So the
Mhm.
economy underneath Mac Seven is struggling, but yeah, I guess Nvidia carries the market to the new
Yeah,
highs.
exactly. We're seeing the market being carried, and you know what's scary about this, Irdi, is that because we saw something similar last year with the Mag 7 carrying the market. I think it was around mid last year, around like May to
Yeah,
around
this
October,
time, yes,
November.
yeah.
It's very, very similar. And then after that moment, what we saw is we saw a market correction. We saw to the market move around, I think, 20%, 25% at the time. It was around January to around March. So maybe we, like you said, we could see another quarter that does well. So maybe Q4 does quite well, and then Q1 of next year or Q2 of next year we see a dip and a huge correction in the markets, especially considering that there's an AI bubble, in my opinion, developing at the moment. It's a bit worrying to
The,
me.
I think the bubble is becoming a really troublesome thing for economy. The big issue I've seen is because it's been talked to the news, so that's a problem. That's a huge
Yeah,
problem if a normal population gets information. AI could invest now to get rich. It has risen thousands of percent. So that is a scary news for new investors. And something I've noticed is the pushback people are having against AI in a lot of fields and TV shows or TV programs being made to push the narrative that AI is being dangerous about job
yeah,
opportunities on the young people, and job cuts, which we saw this week, where companies are making huge cuts on their staff. So yeah, we had even that Michael Burry tweet which said sometimes is doing nothing is the best thing to do, pretty much what he said on that tweet. So
yeah.
yeah, I think we wait and see. I'm pretty sure in Q1 of next year we might have a dip or a crash or black swan event that can happen with AI, which will drag all the market down.
I think so. I think so. Or we see a situation where the Magnificent Seven and some of these big companies continue to rise because of good margins, but then the broader market falls. And then we kind of see a situation where the market has to be pulled back down.
But
Because I think there's
the
still going to
problem,
be a need for Nvidia. There's still going to be a need for their products, considering that there is a investment coming in from governments. There's huge investment in data centers, but I think what might happen is a lot of companies might become bankrupt, and jobs might be lost until there's a replacement process in the economy as a whole.
yeah, the problem is that how much demand is needed, you know. We
Yeah.
see we need much computing power, but we see China evolving, making its own chips. Maybe Nvidia isn't needed in China anymore because China evolves. So how
Yeah.
much demand will Nvidia sell? So let's say they sell 1 million chips this year and sell 2 million next year. Like how many people are on the planet that need those chips, you know? So it
Agree. Yeah.
becomes a scale problem eventually. Like every industry, like how many cars do people need, you know? It is a scale problem, a human problem. Technology advancement that has reached its peak, maybe. So advancements on that field are staled. Maybe quantum, like we have discussed many times,
Yeah.
it becomes more favorable than AI in next 5 years. Maybe robots or robotic technology. So
Yeah.
pretty much it will stale eventually, but we don't know when. We ride the wave and we go out before the crash. So that's our
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
goals.
We enter in the mix of everything, and then we try and get out better than anybody else. That's basically our way of thinking here. Because look, we can't make any bets against Nvidia and the broader economy
It's
yet.
impossible. It's
You can't
literally
take any
impossible to
positions
place.
against this market yet. Yeah. So that brings me into, because you mentioned jobs, and Jerome Powell spoke this week. Interest rates got dropped to around 25 basis points, so 25 basis point cut.
Was expected.
Very expected, priced in, I think, as well. And then the worrying, I think, factor there was that we saw once he said that December we might not get a cut because some of the members of the Fed are saying that maybe we shouldn't have any rate cuts in December. We saw the market selling off. Um, do you think there is a real issue with jobs, and do you think the Fed is worried about jobs, or do you think they're just lowering interest rates because everything is good and the economy is decent, and they think that, you know, he did mention that the job market is softening a little bit, but do you think there's real worries there of a recession happening in the US?
I'm not saying 100%, but I'm pretty sure that 70% that of probability that the job market is suffering. I see the signs on a lot of. I mean, social media is not the best place to get information, but you see a lot of unsettlement in America. I should say, a lot of
Yeah,
protests, a lot of people being unpleased with the government, with some people fighting against each other, I guess, for their ideals and not focusing their power and their energy towards economy. You don't see economic news anymore, if I should say. You don't see a clear
yeah,
program of the US government pushing forward. Okay, we as a society will push forward AI. 50% is against, 50% is pro AI. In USA, you don't have a clear uh, path forward, I guess, for American economy at this place at this time. Something, for
yeah,
example, like energy that Trump pumped it a lot, is not seeing the growth we desired because we have seen a lot of stocks of energy, of nuclear. We've seen a lot of programs stalling on the Senate or in Congress because people are against nuclear. So it seems like the democracy uh, is putting behind America, I should say, because they have to pass a lot of procedures, a lot of legislation for
yeah,
to see the impact of their jobs creation. If job creation, I think, has been down this month, so that's another sign that might be problematic. Yeah, that news that a lot of big companies are doing layoffs for no apparent reason because Amazon is like 20% year to year, and they're laying off 40,000 people of their jobs. So yeah, it's pretty scary times, I guess, for America. But
yeah,
never bet against America is a saying, and they can just pump the dollar to the economy, which we have seen dollar rising again, getting power from other currencies, gold
yeah,
falling.
yeah.
So pretty much it's a mixed bag. There is no clear view, but I think the most telling is the raw rate cuts in December, which is normal. We expected 4% to be the interest rate that would be for a
Yeah,
long time because inflation isn't falling anytime soon. It's 3% again, I
I
think.
agree on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's
Inflation is at a
plausible.
point where I think it's stagnant right now, and there's no movement. I think
Yeah,
there's still
my
worries of
theory is that 3% will be the new 2%. Everyone will be happy
yeah,
with 3% and move on.
yeah, probably yeah. It's looking like that because what they're doing is when it's it's around 3% now, they're reducing interest rates.
Yep.
So it's looking like they're comfortable with 3%, and yeah, 4% interest isn't too bad. It gives people opportunity to refinance at a decent rate, and yeah, I think it's a decent market condition. One thing that Jerome Powell did mention is that there was a question about whether interest rates being reduced, these companies raising capital and putting it into data centers and AI, and that would lead to more job cuts. He said that he doesn't think the industry is reliant on interest based finance. So a lot of the finance that they're getting is between each other and from investors that have cash on hand, and they're just piling it into data centers and investments related to AI. So as an industry, I think it's more about maybe helping other businesses than helping the AI and data center businesses. The interest rate cuts are going to be helping those businesses rather than AI businesses, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
AI is a high class investments, I guess. It's not for a
exactly. Yeah,
normal worker, normal business, family owned business. So rate cut doesn't affect them. They have favorable conditions from the bank either with or without rate cuts. So
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
big businesses always gets what they want.
Yeah. We spoke about the dollar. You mentioned the dollar a little bit, it rising. I
Yeah.
mentioned it in the videos on the daily videos that for me a key pivot point was the dollar going to around 99, the Dixie around 99, and then that's where we saw some sell-offs in the markets. And I think a strengthening dollar is a bit of a problem for markets in general, in my opinion. It could impact, especially crypto. It could impact crypto with another sell-off. It could impact the stock market as well, which I think is a little bit overextended. How do you feel about the stock market going into next week? What is your opinion about the market? I think it's overextended
You know,
and it needs a
what is
pullback.
interesting about the dollar is that this shows that money is not going into assets. People are staying in
Yeah,
cash, so every stock is being exchanged to the dollar. So this shows that American people don't have money to invest, maybe, or they feel safer on the dollar than every other asset. Gold has sold off, stocks are selling off. I mean,
Bitcoin.
pretty heavily, I would say, but they are selling off like 1%, 2% daily from Jerome Powell's speech to today. So we have seen some stocks sell off even harder. So it seems that there is a request for cash from
Yeah,
people. So that has made the dollar rise significantly in value. Despite this sell-off from 99 to 98 or 97, it's still a lot. It was 80 to the euro like 1 month ago. So
yeah.
yeah, it is a pretty significant rise. It's that signals that people want the dollar and not the assets related to the dollar. That's my idea
I
for
think
that.
that there's also some profit taking in the market. I feel
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. We always say in this time that there is profit taking from the pension funds, from these insurance
yeah.
companies. So there is the time of the year too.
So I think that's what's happening here is there's some profit taking as the asset prices are going up. So you're seeing Nvidia, Palantir, etc. moving up higher. There's profit taking happening during that process, and the yeah. So that's why I saw. And then also we have earnings. We've had earnings for some of these major companies. For me, I don't know if it was a positive earnings season or negative earnings season. I don't know how I felt about it, but it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed. One stock is flying, the next one is dropping. 8%. We
Yeah, it's
saw
so weird.
Netflix
We
drop.
see companies having record-breaking profits, like PayPal was one of them that I was watching
Yeah,
closely. They announced a dealer with OpenAI in the morning, and the afternoon they had their earnings. The earnings were exceptional, high growth, high return rate, high cash, I think too, and the
yeah,
stock went back to 68, $69 after going to 80 just for 24 hours. So
yeah,
there has been a mixed bag on that. I've seen Meta having awesome earnings too and having a sell off the next day too. And then we have seen Tesla having missed earnings, I think, and doing a
yeah,
jump to 480 for a bit, then coming back
yeah,
down. So yeah, it's been pretty weird market, that's for sure. This earnings season seems bad earnings equal stock growth because maybe the
yeah.
conference call, because I didn't follow the Tesla conference call to be honest. Maybe there was
Same, yeah.
some
Same.
maybe there was some inspiration, maybe some new project they announced. But yeah,
I, I,
pretty much
I think it's the robo taxis in Houston. They're looking to remove
the driver, the
human
assistant.
intervention, as yeah, drivers or assistants watching the cars. So that's a positive sign to be able to scale it. And then there's Optimus as well. I think launching next year. So there's that's another factor. But I traded Tesla just purely on momentum, most of the time that I do, and it hasn't done that well. It's around break even, so it's not really. It pushed up initially and then it sold off. I think PayPal for you was pretty good. We had like a 20 something percent gain within the day. Um, but yeah, mixed bag. And I think we have Nvidia finally. And then I think what I'm seeing here
Nvidia
is
decides the market.
overextension.
I think even the investors are expecting Nvidia, and nothing else matters. It seems these days
Yeah,
they expect
it's
Nvidia
just,
earnings. If the Nvidia earnings are like gallopant, the exceptional like they have been for the past 3 years, the market will be good. If they fall a little bit, like we expected 20% and it is only 50%
yeah,
growth, the market will sell off immediately.
yeah. It's definitely the main focus, I think, for the markets, and it's one to watch in the next week. I think next week or the week after. I can't remember now. But yeah, we definitely have to watch Nvidia earnings and see how they do. In terms of next week, what are you watching? What are you looking to trade? How are you positioning yourself? And what would you say to the listeners that they should be monitoring and looking to do? We have non-farm payroll on
To
Friday.
be honest, I
We
am
have
still
JOLTS job openings on Tuesday next week. Some manufacturing news, but I'm thinking unemployment data is going to be very, very important for the market next week, right? After the Fed decision.
yeah. I expect unemployment data to be really impactful, and I think gold is being undervalued a little bit, which is weird to say
Okay.
because it went to 4,000 and it is around 360 now. But I think it's undervalued because people are selling a little bit too quick, on my opinion, from gold, because this AI hype and stocks having huge returns per projected. I think
Yeah.
Nvidia earnings, Santa rally that we had last year, and maybe people are saying, "Oh, stocks by the end of the year will return me a lot of money." But yeah, I think
Yeah.
gold is a little bit underrated. Maybe small position in gold in GLD, I guess, which is a fund that tracks gold. I guess natural gas is still a little bit underrated for me too. It seems a cold winter and biotech, which is my theme that I'm trying to catch a good break on, seems to be the way to go if we want to move from the AI hype and play safer,
Yeah.
underrated assets.
So you think commodities, natural gas, I've been talking about natural gas on the channel for over a month and a half now, and it's moved up 35% natural gas, but I haven't traded it.
Yeah,
No, I
Yeah,
didn't. I didn't
but
get an
the
opportunity to
stock
trade.
TST hasn't moved that much. I think it is at 200.
Yeah, I,
It was at
I haven't been
180,
able
which
to
is
find a good stock. I haven't been able to find a good stock in the theme. But the price of natural gas is up, but the stock prices aren't moving.
yeah,
So
those
maybe,
have been lagging a lot.
yeah. And what I was going to say is maybe we have an opportunity where there's a discrepancy. There's a natural gas prices moving up higher, but stocks that are supplying natural gas or in the industry, they're lagging behind, and eventually they have to jump to similar levels to natural gas. So maybe we have to check that out this week. That's a very good idea, or a very good theme. Yeah, I think gold is pretty, like you said, gold hit that 3.9 level that I had as a target, shared it on the channel with the viewers, and since then it's consolidating. So maybe we get a move to around 4.2 thousand, 4.3 thousand before we get further resistance, in my opinion. One theme that I like is I like aerospace and defense. So I was looking at Joby today. I shared it in the Discord group. I like that one. I like Archer as well. Pretty good stock there. It's done pretty well for me the last few times that I've traded it. It's performed well for me. And I wanted to trade the Korean market, which I didn't trade. And I think maybe there's some opportunities in the Korean
Right,
market
Korean
or the
market
Australian
can be
market.
huge. When we talked it in the end of last year or maybe beginning of the year, that it was
Yeah, we did.
selling really aggressively, and that would be a good moment to buy. Maybe now started to move in our direction.
Yeah. It's moved a lot. If you look at a chart,
I
it's
haven't
moved
seen it.
100%.
To be honest, I haven't seen it.
Maybe it's too much, and the risk reward
Yeah,
ratios were very, very nice. So that one, those two themes for me are like themes I'm looking at next week
I think the problem
with,
with aerospace, maybe for people to be cautious, is that these companies evolve like, they are $5 this week and they are $50 next week because of an invention that just approved by aviation
yeah,
industry or so. These are very big earners, but very cash stalking, I guess. They keep your cash for a long time. It's not like
yeah,
it moves like we love swing trading. We see a setup and then it goes up for a month.
yeah,
These are plays that can take maybe 1 month, maybe 5 years, even though the
yeah.
returns
I
can be
agree.
insane.
I agree. It's about picking the right ones.
Yep,
For
it's
me,
about picking the right companies and seeing their projects, their uh, data. That's why I love stocks, because you can see every data, every report, everything, how the company is run. So it always feels
yeah.
good when you pick the right company.
The one stock that I really liked was a Rivian, and that's a EV. That's a electric vehicles. I thought maybe that one can do well. I've been watching it. I had it previously. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I sold it off prior to the dip, and I think that one's pretty good as well. In terms of other ideas, I think they'll come during the week. While we look at the markets. But personally, I'm expecting a bit of a drop, maybe a sell off early in the week, and then if we can have good
Yeah,
job data, sorry, if we have good non-farm payrolls and unemployment data, we can then see a move up higher. But I think November might be a good month from what I see,
yeah,
but
I hope so.
could be
We need a good November
two
and
halves.
December.
I'm seeing two halves. So what I'm thinking is first half of November we go down, second half of November we go up, and then we lead into a positive December. But we'll be watching it day by day and discussing it on the channel. Any last words for the viewers?
No, pretty much this. We expect next week to be better. I think it will be if the job data comes in strong. But if they come a little bit weak, we might have further sell off and maybe fear the
Yeah,
market before New Year, which can be problematic, I think. Going to next year, maybe we have the fears of stagflation improving again. Maybe we have fears of economy of America. We have seen a lot of loans being problematic, especially on the young generation. Students, new graduate are having huge issues with the loans market. So there are
yeah,
things to watch. There are signs that things might not be as good, But in this market, when everything goes bullish, you can't go against the trend, especially when Nvidia and AMD and every big company is investing money into each other and pumping each other by 10, 20% on a daily basis. So,
Very true.
yeah, it is a pretty weird market, but we should keep focus and trade the best ideas, even though they are not the
Yeah,
prettiest ideas or the high gain ideas. We need to go for the safety. I think that is my approach. Henry approach too. I guess there are some members of the
yeah,
community that are more aggressive, like crypto. They like crypto. They like maybe riskier assets. But everyone has their style, so pretty much that.
exactly, exactly. I think the best approach is to just pick the best opportunities in the market. So don't focus too heavily on crypto. Don't focus too heavily in a particular industry. Whatever is setting up, not only on a technical perspective, but also fundamentally and as a theme, that's what you should be trading. One of the biggest themes for me the last year and a half has been quantum, as well as semiconductors and these other ones. And that's the reason why I'm performing pretty well. Irdi is very good at finding hidden gems. You found, I think, is BW recently that did really well for you.
Yeah, BW was like from 0.4 is 3.6, so like 800% on
Exactly. Yeah.
3 4 months. It is insane.
Like,
It was an insane value stock, which you could see the company ideals, future. You could see their projects for 2026. So you,
yeah.
you you could see their how the cash will be generated, how the stock price might rise. So going early when I discovered the company at the end of 2024, which I've shared in our Albanian language tradecast. And yeah, pretty much it's a good company. This is the companies I want to find and be proud that I guess I found them, or
Yeah.
that I invested a little bit of my money to get a huge return.
Yeah. Like I said, you have a knack for getting hidden gems. So finding hidden
Yeah,
gems.
I
So
like to see
this is the reason why the
underappreciated
community is
stuff.
there.
I think
Exactly. Yeah.
China was a
A
great
value
play
investor.
last year too. I loved our China
Yeah.
play too.
China's been.
When we decided that Baba and JD last year were undervalued, and they are like 60% from their low point. So 60% for a
Yeah.
year, it's
Yeah.
pretty good,
China.
no matter what.
China's been good to me as well in terms of the
Yeah,
stocks. I mean, with Alibaba and Baidu and JD and so on that we've traded, and we've been able to trade two waves on there as well. These are key themes that we look for in the community. And look for the listeners that have been able to stay here until the end of the video. What I want to say is this is the reason why we have the community. There's different ideas, different styles. There's Irdi finding these hidden gems. There's me, momentum trader, swing trader, medium term, and then there's other guys that are looking at other opportunities, and this is how we help each other out um, with different ideas as well. So yeah, that's the reason why you should join the community and follow the link below in the description of the video. Really, I'm thinking of wrapping up the video, as in the podcast for
enough.
today. I think that covered everything. We're going to be trying to keep these podcasts around half an hour, keep them short
Yep.
and focused on the key topics. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Irdi and I are going to be doing this pretty much every week, but we might be adding additional members of the group as well as other people that I might invite in the podcast over time. It is a new project, so make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment below the video. Also, go and follow me personally on all of my social medias. I think Irdi doesn't have social media. He doesn't really want to be a public figure. So,
Yeah, I
but if you
don't
do,
use them a lot these days. I am only on
exactly.
Discord and maybe on, yeah, Twitter, I guess, X, but I don't use
I
them.
think I think Irdi should get an X account and share
Yeah.
share all your amazing ideas, because I
I
think a
should
lot
tell
of people are
the
going to follow you.
thingy that those influencers do. Look how much this increased when I published it before 5 weeks ago,
Yeah, exactly.
and take money from
Um,
Elon Musk.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think an X account would do you well. That would be quite a good thing to do if you ever want to do it. You can share your ideas there. But he's in the community as well in the Discord. So yeah, that's another reason for you guys to join. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Yardi. Take
Thank you.
care, and we'll see
Bye.
you next week.